Assumption, in the law of assumption, is to assume what is not yet apparent, not yet physically manifest, not by pretending that you have money when you don't, but by assuming the consciousness of the person you aspire to be, energetically, emotionally speaking. It's about feeling the way someone who has plenty of money feels, for example. It's about assuming the state of your wish fulfilled. If you are wondering how you can do that while still functioning in a world that demands you to acknowledge things that you would prefer not to acknowledge, such as the fact that your bank statement does not show a certain balance or that your current monthly income is not what you would like it to be, here's how. First, relax. Think in terms of what you can do instead of what you can't. Instead of, I can't just lie to myself about money, or I can't just lie to other people, you could think, I can be truthful without allowing the truth to bother me. You don't have to pretend unless pretending feels like fun to you. Some people do, and they have a natural flair for it. Not everyone does, and that's okay. You don't have to be like anyone else. You can be who you are. Resistance is what happens when you disapprove of things, when you disapprove of others who don't do things the way you would, or when you disapprove of yourself for not doing things the way they should be done. The consciousness of someone who is financially secure and free is the consciousness that you assume whenever you allow and permit instead of restricting and disapproving and resisting. Also, to be crystal clear, it's not that you can't lie, it's that you choose not to. You prefer not to. Some people choose otherwise, and that's their choice. And judging the liars or railing against the injustice of other people's hypocrisy and dishonesty and so on is one possible expenditure of your energy. It is not the only one. You are free. Yes, there are a lot of liars and phonies out there. There are also a lot of genuine and lovely people as well. You get to choose who to focus your attention upon. It's that simple. What a lot of people who want to manifest money do is to judge themselves for being poor, for not having enough money, and so on. That is poverty consciousness, and it manifests in speech and behavior. People who describe their own circumstances as unfavorable and explain why things aren't going well for them and give evidence for all of the reasons why they aren't able to get what they want are justifying and supporting their own poverty consciousness. People who experience identical circumstances and describe it as favorable and optimistic speak and behave very differently. It's not about having the money or not having it. It's about your self-concept, how much you love and approve of yourself without conditions, unconditionally. The more unconditionally you love yourself, the happier you are. And the happier you are, the more magnetic you become, the more attractive to all of the things you desire, including money. People often want to just skip the unconditional self-love stuff as just woo-woo nonsense and pure fluff, but it is actually the most important part of becoming a money magnet. Unconditional self-love is at the heart of your powers of manifestation. Someone who loves themselves unconditionally does not do things they hate in order to get paid. When you truly love yourself, you do what you love. It's not even a matter of courage. Doing what you love is inevitable and natural because that is how powerful your love is, as corny as it sounds. To love and appreciate things feels so good, and to love and appreciate yourself is the best feeling ever. One last thing before I conclude. Two things really. First, about lying to yourself. You actually lie to yourself all the time, like when you assume the worst and when you think thoughts like, I'm behind in life, or the money I have isn't enough. Enough is a value judgment. It's a perspective. One man's not enough is another man's plenty, just like one man's trash is another man's treasure. Instead of devaluing what you have by labeling it as not enough, affirm and strengthen your abundance consciousness by acknowledging everything you currently have as plenty, as more than enough. Be thankful for the treasures that you have, and they will multiply in value. What you appreciate, you appreciate. If you're going to lie, tell yourself better ones, in other words. Second, about lying to other people. You do not have to lie to other people. You can be truthful about where you currently are financially, be okay with where you are, and look forward to manifesting greater and greater wealth. You don't have to divulge your financial situation to other people either. You can be truthful without oversharing. If you are struggling to feel abundant because you are not comfortable with spending money on the things you would like to spend money on, you have an awareness of lack, of not enough money. This goes back to having a poverty consciousness. Most people go, yeah, I am not comfortable spending this amount of money because what I have isn't enough to cover it. Here's the thing. The most powerful manifestors are able to trust in abundance despite appearances. That trust, which is a state of mind, manifests in inspired action, which leads to a stream of abundance seemingly out of thin air. This happened to me when I didn't have the money for expensive specialist treatment that I was recommended by my doctor. I literally had no idea how I would pay for it. So I pretty much just forgot about it. I didn't stress about it. It didn't feel particularly good to think I can't afford this. So I just stopped thinking about it altogether and I just went on with my life. And a few months later, thanks to a huge rebate I received on an old transaction, I came into a rather large sum of money with which I was able to pay for the treatment. The money came to me in a way that I did not expect, that I had not foreseen, and importantly, in a way that I had no resistance to. My own clarity of knowing exactly what I wanted the money for is what was key, together with my just pretty much not worrying about it because I had no idea where the money was going to come from. Feeling uncomfortable about spending the money that you have is just you being distracted from your infinite abundance by the appearance of quote-unquote current physical reality. The thing is, the current physical reality of the money that you currently have is a manifestation of your consciousness. Physical reality is always behind, out of date. Consciousness is where cutting edge reality is at. Consciousness is where creation happens. Consciousness, the way you think and feel, how you relate to things, such as money, for example. If you can't help feeling reluctant to spend, the answer is not to just spend extravagantly anyway without first aligning your energy. That is what leads to buyer's remorse. The answer is to stay in alignment. Align your energy and then spend. Spend joyfully on what you do feel comfortable spending on, even if you choose only to spend on the bare necessities. How often do you actually feel excited about the money that you spend, even if it's just groceries? Enjoy your purchases. Whatever you do, have fun. Personally, I love getting groceries. I love picking the freshest, ripest produce. And I also enjoy spending on things that are higher end. I am happy to spend large amounts of money when I know I am receiving value, like that treatment I received. I knew I was in the hands of professionals, experts with over 20 years' experience in their field of specialization. I knew I was in safe hands, and my experience with them was very good. Absolutely no regrets for spending that money. Whatever it is you want the money for, have clarity about it. I knew that as soon as I had the money, I was going to get in touch with a specialist. And that is indeed what I did. If you were to get the money right now, would you actually spend it on that thing you dream of spending it on? Or would you just put it in your savings for a rainy day? Can you see yourself spending that amount of money joyfully and receiving the benefit of it? If it makes you nervous, it's time to align your energy. Money is here to serve you, not for you to stash away and hoard for the sake of feeling safe. Having clarity and feeling safe now is what makes you willing to enjoy. Having clarity is what makes you receptive to your own good. And if you have no idea how you will afford that thing you want, good. No need to make that a reason for you to worry or stress out. Use the fact that you have no idea as an excuse to surrender to higher consciousness, to an intelligence far greater than your own. You never know when or how the money will come, and you don't have to. The universe has your back. Staying open and optimistic is what keeps you receptive to your own flow of abundance.